Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about glass bottles. So glass bottles, we've all used them, but how exactly are they made? We went to OR Glass, who are the world leaders in glass manufacturing, glass bottles. They make billions of bottles every single year. We thought that is the best place for us to go and see exactly how to make a glass bottle. So let's go join them in Harlow to see exactly how it's done. Hey guys, so we have arrived. We're here in OR Glass. I'm joined here by Barry. Barry, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, thanks Kieran for coming on site. My name's Barry McManus. I'm the Quality Development Manager for OI, looking after all our English, Irish and Welsh customers.
All right, awesome. Thank you again, Barry, for bringing us across here. A little bit of a glass landslide happening. Yeah. But you've now brought us into kind of where you're getting majority of your raw ingredients, which is recycled glass. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So we're here in our cullet bays in Harlow.
Yeah.
We use the majority of the cullet in the bay or into making the glass.
Yeah.
We also use silica sand, soda ash and limestone. It's all mixed together to make the glass.
Make the final. Again, you're saying cullet. Now, explain to us exactly what is cullet.
So cullet is effectively anybody else that's drinking a beer at home, bottle of wine, and you put that in your recycling bin. Most of it makes its way back into the recycle centres,
yeah.
And then we buy the processed cullet back in to make the glass bottles here on site.
So when we talk about recycling a glass bottle, it is actually getting recycled, getting put back into the process,
yeah,
for us to reuse again many times over.
Yeah, so glass is 100% recyclable.
Yeah.
You can, like, the bottle you put in your bin today,
yeah,
that most likely comes back in and we can make more bottles out of it, not just continues and continues.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a very environmentally friendly.
Yeah,
product.
yeah. And then you've got different bays sitting over here. You were saying that these are basically kind of color differences between these?
So you've kind of got different sizes of cullet.
Yeah.
You've obviously some of the glass here beside it's the largest pieces.
Yeah.
You've actually got bottles that has been rejected from the process, so it all goes back into the system again. And then you've got your finer product here that comes back in, and it's easier to melt if it's down in smaller sizes.
Yeah, okay. And now you guys are mixing this up with your raw ingredients. You're saying silica and a couple of, just to get your kind of mix correct, just so that you're getting...
it's like making a cake. So our batch and furnace team, they'll mix the cullet that we brought in. They'll mix it with some of the glass that's rejected from the process.
Yeah.
And then that all come together and makes the big spot.
Okay. Now, it's sitting outside here. I know you were talking about it being slightly wet.
Yeah.
But with your process that you guys actually go through, you preheat it to kind of let the moisture kind of evaporate off. Yeah.
Yeah. So the furnace we use is an oxy furnace.
Okay.
So it's instead of just letting that heat escape, we use the heat to keep the heat in the furnace, to heat the furnace back up. And then we also use that heat to dry the cullet before it goes back into the process to be heated. So you can imagine if you had damp, wet cullet, and that's not being heated, that's going in soaked. Yeah. So it takes more energy up to burn that. This way you're using energy, and it's much more economically friendly. Yeah.
So it is. I mean, even though massive factory, you guys are right from the beginning thinking about energy saving, heat savings, and that sort of thing, all for pretty much sustainability and keeping everybody drinking beer, basically.
Exactly, yeah. I think everybody from ourselves, OI, globally, to our customers, the big word is sustainability. Yeah. And that's the big push at the minute.
Yeah, and I mean, it starts right the way from raw material all the way out. Yeah, I mean, you guys, like I said, you were saying is you're reusing the bottles that are being rejected. It's just going straight back into the line and you know, making some awesome bottles.
Yeah, and so it sustainably starts from the cullet all the way down to the final packaging.
Yeah. All right, and then the next step after this, I think we need to see exactly how a bottle is formed.
See the cool bit.
The cool bits and pieces, which is going to be pretty much the actual molds. Is that next?
Yeah, so we'll go into the mold shop and show you the molds and how the bottles are formed and what we use to form the bottles.
Okay, awesome, fantastic. Let's get going. Cheers. So guys, we're inside the mold shop at the moment, and I've got Roberto here. Roberto, you know everything to do about these molds.
Well, basically, yes.
You just run us through the whole process over here and how these molds work.
Okay. Well, as you know from our production, we work in an MPB process. So that means narrow neck press and blow. So as a standard process, we have a partition that is made in the blank side.
Okay.
The blank side, this is the blank itself.
Yeah.
So the blank is the one that makes the partition of the pre-forma.
Okay.
Is something that is made before you make the bottle itself.
Okay.
So when the gob, as you saw in the production area, when the gob twirls, basically the gob twirls inside this cavity when it's closed.
Okay.
And then the baffle comes in, and basically the plunger goes up, and the pressure makes the profile of the partition with the glass, with the gob itself. Once that's done, the baffle goes away, the plunger goes down, the blanks open, and what you have is, in the inver arm, you can see the partition here, and the partition is the performance I was saying, and this one is moved from the blank side to the mold side in the inversion, and then that one goes into the mold. The mold itself, as you can see, is the final shape. Is from the final shape of the bottle. You have the bottom, and the ring that is the one that is going to make the neck for the bottle. So in this in this moment, this one goes away, and then you just have the neck, the bottle finish over here. So there is something called the blowhead that goes over here. That blowhead blows the air inside, and that's what made the partition just go away to go into the walls of and take the shape of the mold itself.
All right.
So all these materials, you have cast iron, you have Minox, you have some of them that are nickel. Just
I suppose you got to take a lot of heat, these things.
Yes, the gob itself is around 11 or 1200 degrees Celsius at the moment it falls. And when the bottle goes out, that you can see on the conveyor, it's around 650 degrees Celsius.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for showing us your amazing equipment. We're going to go off and actually go see how all of this gets fit together and how all that glass gets into these molds. So keep on watching and follow us.
Thank you.
Cheers. So guys, we have been inside what they consider to be the hot side, and let me tell you, it is hot. It is really hot in there. The noise that the machines are making, there's actually no ways we could have filmed in there and actually spoken over some of the machinery. So Johan has come inside the machine shop with me, and you're going to explain to us a little bit more about that hot side process and how does that all work?
Okay, so it all starts for us with a sand. So we've got our raw materials, our sand comes in, then it goes through our mixer system where we formulate the batch and we mix everything together to find our recipe. After that gets transferred into the furnace. Once it's in the furnace, we've got an oxy-fuel furnace, so we burn gas and oxygen, so the glass melts. Once it's melted, it goes through channels, and these channels brings it to our machine. We call them the 4-offs. So all we do there is we condition the glass. So we get the glass at certain temperature, we put it through the channel, and we want it at the machine at a certain temperature. So during that process, we cool down the glass, we keep the sides warm to get to the correct temperature.
And that temperature, that temperature you said was quite important to maintain that temperature, so it's not too hot, not too cold. Is that correct?
That is correct. That temperature we control very closely within a few degrees. That is critical for forming the container. If it's too hot, it will cause us defects with the containers. If it's too cold, it causes us defects. So we need to, that's important part of controlling our process, is we need to get to the right temperature.
And that glass that's coming through there, again, when it's dropping down from the top there, that's like 1200 degrees of glass, and then the guys standing in the front there, what was that, like 500-600 degrees?
So when the glass comes out, it's between 600 and 700 degrees. So the bottles that you can see on the conveyor, it's around 600, 650 degrees.
So a great way to like cook a steak, guys. Let me tell you again, that front of that furnace or that front of that blow mold area was damn hot. I was standing there and I was there for about 3 minutes and I was ready to leave. You guys that are standing there all day long, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, it's you get accustomed to it. It's the environment. If you speak to anyone in the hot end area, the winter is our best time because then it's nice and warm at the machines. And if you're working in the cold end, then the summer is the best time. So we have each side's got its benefits.
And then when we were at the machines, there was a lot of kind of steam coming off of that. What is that? Is that like a mold release, or is that a mixture of what?
So all the equipment you see needs lubricating.
Okay.
So we do lubricate some parts of the equipment.
Okay.
In certain areas we do lubricate it.
Okay.
And the steam you can see is just as we apply the lubrication, where that heats up and it creates a bit of steam.
All right. And then that's coming off the machine, and I saw you guys were doing checks as the bottles were going down. You're making sure color's right, bottles are good.
Yep.
And one of them was the guys were squeezing the bottles.
Yeah.
What is the reason for squeezing the bottles?
Yeah, so normally they like to feel how hard is the glass. Again, that's just people's perception of how the bottle is. But for us, the main thing is we take a set of bottles off from each of the cavities. We put it on the inspection table. We've got certain checks we do. So every hour we will do our checks. And if there's any defects, that get rejected and the defects get fixed.
So there you go, guys. Even though you've got these massive mechanical machines, there's still guys like Johan standing there, making sure that those bottles are correct right the way from the beginning. It's a hands-on process. And next time you guys are drinking your beer out of your bottle, you'll know a little bit about what goes into just the beginning stages. So thank you, Johan.
Thank you.
I want to just say, awesome job you're doing. And
thank you.
I think we're ready to move over to the next step, which is packing. So let's go.
Thank you.
Cheers. So guys, that is almost the process done. Sorry, there is a little bit of noise in the background. We are in a factory that's busy working hard to make glass bottles. So Barry, we have now moved over from the forming machines. It's going onto what you guys call the cold side.
Yeah, so before the bottle goes into the cold side, it gets hot end coated.
Okay.
So the hot end coating is effectively, it's like, in the easy terms, it's kind of priming the bottle before the cold end coating.
Okay.
So it gets the hot end coating, it moves into the annealing layer to remove the residual stress off the bottles.
Okay.
And then the bottles are gradually cooled down before they get the cold end spray.
Okay. And that spray itself, what is that actually doing for the bottles?
Effectively, it's putting a protective coating on the bottles. So to keep it simple, it's putting like a slip on the bottles.
Okay.
So it's protecting bottles from when they're built up in accumulation, when they're running down our factory lines, customers filling lines, and actually out in the market to keep the strand.
So basically they're not going to scratch as they're going through all the lines and stuff like that.
More or less,
okay. Yeah. And then from there, you're moving over to conveyor belts, you're going all over the place, and then it goes through, like every single bottle is pretty much checked for any defects and that sort of thing. It's an amazing machine. It's basically spinning around bottles and telling me what's a little bit that's going on in that machine.
Yeah, so once the bottles get the cold end coating, they go down into the kind of automated inspection machines that we have. So each bottle is spun, we're checking for the glass wall thickness, we're checking for defects, and they also go through manual checks that we carry out frequently on lines. And then once it goes through that process, we also have our lab, which is carrying out frequent tests as well, as a verification process of the checks that's taking place on the line.
So it's always great to see that, like I said, every single bottle is getting checked. You know you're getting a decent bottle at the end when you're putting it into your mouth or even doing your bottling at home. And then also, there is a lot of glasses. Just coming out of that bottling line, I don't even know how many were there. behind us, we've got tons of bottles. How much does OR Glass make?
So out of the Harlow plant, we can produce up to 545 million bottles per year. So yeah,
that's a lot of bottles.
That's a bad hangover if you can manage the 545 million of them.
And you guys are producing bottles for, biggest breweries around and international. I mean, it is an international company.
Yeah.
So guys, if you have had a glass bottle in your hand recently, it's probably made by these guys at OR Glass. So that's a nice thing to say.
Yeah, fair statement. Any massive brewery or global brand that you can think of,
yeah,
whether it's whiskey, beer, we've made it.
All right, well, there we go. And then once that process is done, we packaged, we get it wrapped, it gets taken to storage and then ready to move out to customers.
It sits in our warehouse here and various warehouses across the UK, and then when you guys call it off, we'll deliver to you.
All right, awesome. So Barry, OR Glass as a company, millions of bottles throughout the world. Can you tell us a little bit more about OR Glass?
Yeah, so not only do we produce the bottles for all our customers all over the world globally, we work closely with them in terms of NPD, some new products being released. We work closely with them for kind of lightweighting projects to kind of build on the sustainability message that our customers want.
Yeah.
We work closely with them for any new trials. We also have a decoration facility up in Alloa, in Scotland. So we can kind of screen print, so any design you want.
Yeah.
You can make your bottle bespoke and stand out on the shelf.
So Barry, I know our mission statement, our slogan is, let's brew together. OR Glass, you guys have an interesting new mission statement. What is it?
Yep, our new mission statement is, together we put the power of glass within reach of everyone, every day.
So Barry, I think that mission statement really is something that people need to listen to. And the fact that glass has a never-ending life. It can be recycled into new glass. You can reuse that bottle 1 million times over if you want to.
Endless.
So guys, glass bottles for your beer, it's a great choice. You can reuse it over and over and over again. It's great because it's going to actually cause your beer to be fresher for longer because it's not going to be light struck. You can check it out in one of the blog articles we got. And as always, guys, I think that's all we have today. Happy brewing. So there you go, glass bottles. What a fascinating process, and it was an amazing place for us to go and visit. And let me tell you guys, I have never seen that many glass bottles in one place in my life. So, well, so OR Glass, great company, great people to be working with. One thing I can honestly say is the people working there, even though it's a massive company, the people there are down to earth, fantastic, and they got a real family vibe there. There's some people with about 4 or 5 generations working at OR Glass, even for 30, 40 years. So guys, if you want to get your hands on one of these fantastic glass bottles from OR Glass, check it out on our website. Look at the links below. And don't forget, please hit a like, a subscribe, all those things. Really helps us out. And as always, guys, happy brewing.